Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're returning, welcome for the first time if you're a first-time visitor. And thank you to everyone who has contributed to this site by either commenting, asking questions, or actually contributing to the site. It means a lot. My name is Casey, and I am talking about the ketogenic diet, one on which I have lost to my lowest point, 92.1 pounds. I want to cover a couple of things today. One is, if you have followed me at all, and if you also visit my blog, at the top of the page at the blog, there's a little tab that says my next goal. Quick recap, I've been setting weight loss goals for, well, like we all have, since I was about 18, but I've been seriously having weight loss goals for about 16 years. And I never really made them, any of them at all, until I started the ketogenic diet 3 years ago, and I started to make goals. I didn't make them all. I would miss some. I would make the next two. I'd miss one. And it's all based on elaborate formulas that I arbitrarily came up with for this big spreadsheet. It's a long story. But I'm pretty near the end of losing weight, as far as I'm concerned. I'm I don't know if you can hear my husband singing in the background. He's downstairs cooking. And he's happy, so he's singing. I'm near the end. I'd gotten to within about, I think, 9 pounds or something like that. And I said, I might actually, just get another 8 or 9 pounds and call it a day. That was right before the holidays. I hit close to a new low, might have been a new low. And then over the holidays, I have struggled more, not with eating foods that are not allowed. I am able to keep that under control. I think there's a couple of things going on. There is more holidays, there's more food, and I enjoyed the food at festivities, etc. So I ate more food than I needed. If you followed me at all, you've heard me say 100 billion times, the hardest thing for me is eating only when hungry. It's very difficult, at least for me. We've been drilled in to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, or 3 meals and 2 snacks, or it's 5 o'clock, must be dinner time. We've been over this one a lot. But over the holidays, something else I think is probably going, not over the holidays, over the last month or so, something else I think is going on. And if you've looked at my next goal chart that's on my blog, and success is never in a straight line, but this one has gone wacky. The chart, the weight loss as of this morning almost went off the top of the page and out of the computer and hit the ceiling. I've put on about 4 pounds in 2 days. Again, I'm in ketosis. I do check it. If something weird is going on, I check my ketones by blood. I am still in ketosis. Over the last 3 days, my ketones have averaged like 2.7 millimolars per liter. It's ideal. My blood sugar has been dropping, actually. This morning, it was either 79 or 80. So I'm not eating unallowed foods. I think I am eating more than I need. I simply am needing fewer and fewer calories. And I think that might be, I think there's something going on. So when I started looking around, I said, wow, that's a lot of weight. Told lovely maid, I said, yay, zow, wowsy. I'm not used to this. I looked back, and last January, almost the exact same thing happened. I hit a new low, and within 2 weeks, I had gone up 7.5 pounds. And then from that point, I immediately started going back down pretty quickly. I don't know whether it's the winter. I don't know whether the solstice has something to do with it. Full moons, barometric pressure. There's more, nighttime, so there's more sitting around. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I can tell you I'm not concerned that I've put on, 4 or 5 pounds of fat. It's definitely, there is some water retention going on. Again, that might be seasonal. I will name it idiopathic seasonal edema. How about that? I just made that up. Don't know why it's happening. It's happening in the winter, and I'm retaining water. I share all of this to remind you that of a couple of things. Weight loss, any goal, any success, is rarely in a straight line. It's going to go up and down. And particularly if you're just starting this, and I know a lot of people are starting with the new year, starting the ketogenic diet maybe for the first time. Don't look to lose weight every day or even every week. I've had weeks where I've gone up. I've had months where I've gone up from the previous month. I weigh every day, but those figures drop into every week, every 7 days, and then in every 4 weeks. And they've gone up sometimes, but the progression has been downward over these 3 years. Slow, but steady. So don't sweat if you're not losing every single time you weigh. There are going to be fluctuations. We can retain 2 pounds of water in a day. We can lose 2 pounds of water in a day. No one really knows what is necessarily regulating that outside of someone either taking a diuretic or chewing on a salt lick. Our body just finds homeostasis with water. It's an amazing mechanism. So that could be a 4-pound fluctuation in a day. So don't sweat it. No pun intended. Keep with it. So that's one message. Another message is I wouldn't know to kind of talk my own self off the ledge or answer my own question. I'm not really on a ledge about it. I'm not freaked out about it. I'm very happy with where I am right now. And if I never lose any more weight, I'm good. I'm really, truly contented. Never thought I'd say that about my weight, but it's true. But if I hadn't tracked all of this information for all this time, I wouldn't have remembered. Again, with the phone/camera issues, any of you who do this via a phone know it can be very challenging. Anyway, if I had not tracked all of this information for all this time, I wouldn't have been able to look back and see, oh wow, January seems to be a funny month for me for whatever reason. So that to me is a good reason to track. Also, and I apologize if I've already said that, another good thing is I highly recommend testing your ketones. I use ketone blood strips with the Precision Extra. I am willing to make that investment because, frankly, all the money we're saving in food is worth it alone. But that's the gold, right now, the gold standard for testing ketones. But just the urine strips are good. Some people say that they become less accurate after a while. I have not found that. I've been in ketosis for over 3 years, and they are a good. They still show me that I'm in ketosis. So if you just do that. But again, the reason I suggest tracking it is because let's ask this question. Say I wasn't testing whether I was in ketosis or not, and I think I'm doing everything. My goal is to be in ketosis so that I am burning fat for fuel and that I'm getting the health benefits. But say then my weight goes up. Did I eat something that wasn't, that had sugar that I didn't know, that had carbs that I didn't know? Was Aunt Lily's sauce that, was with dinner? Did she slip some corn syrup in there? You wouldn't know. I wouldn't know unless I tested. If I'm still in ketosis, and I have been, I've been testing steadily. If I'm still in ketosis, my blood sugar is good, I have not eaten anything that is getting that out of whack. So the answer is elsewhere. It's not that I've got knocked out of ketosis, I've eaten carbohydrate, and that's why my weight has shot up. And it can shoot up quickly if you've been in ketosis, then you have carbs. It can shoot up quickly. So that's a good reason, to me, one of the reasons, to test for whether you're in ketosis or not. For me and for my husband, the whole thing is being in ketosis, not just for fat loss, but for health. Many downstream benefits: loss of inflammation, mental clarity. My brain came back after having gone AWOL for a while. So that's point one. If your weight is erratic, hang in there. If you know that you're following the program, keeping your carbs below 20 a day, eating moderate protein and only eating when hungry, that's point one. Keep with it. If you're in ketosis and your weight is jumped up enough that you think something might be up, let's look at something else. Could you be eating more calories than you need? Or maybe it's just something else. The human body, again, is crazy. And the female human body is whack. Don't we know it? Here's a third point. This has come up a lot. I fielded a lot of comments and questions about how to get enough fat in the diet. How to get all that fat in there. I'm eating a lot of the coconut oil and the MCT oil, but I don't seem to be losing weight. Please keep in mind, although some refer to this as a low-carb, high-fat diet, which it is technically, the name of the game is not how much fat you can get into your diet. It's how many carbs you can prevent from being in your diet. This is a low-carbohydrate diet. If you keep your protein to a just normal, moderate level, what does that mean? That's a question that comes up. It varies by individual, but you don't really have to worry about how many ounces or grams or percentages, because let me tell you why. If you keep your carbohydrates to 20 grams a day or fewer, not 20% of calories, but 20 grams, and the rest of whatever you eat or drink is from the allowed list of foods, and you only eat when hungry, and you stop when you're satisfied, that approved list of foods kind of comes with its own balance. Fatty cuts of meat, chicken with the skin, oily fish, pork with bacon, 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 bacon. Love bacon. But you don't have to love bacon to do this. Eggs, avocado, full-fat dairy if you can tolerate it. These things already pretty much will satisfy the rules, which is low carb, moderate protein, high fat. It just works out. I'm going to tell you in the beginning, I didn't track any macros at all other than making sure my grams were below 20 a day. My grams of carbohydrate were below 20 a day. That's all I worried about. I didn't worry about the rest. I ate a lot of food in the beginning because I was a big woman. And I could get away with it. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then I just finally, I eventually, and I even didn't take very long, I couldn't eat all that food. I was because one of the side effects, when done properly, of this way of eating is it suppresses your appetite. Not only will your hunger dissipate, your appetite will disappear. There will be times when I know this was in the beginning, I know I was hungry. I didn't feel like eating. I didn't want to eat. I had no appetite. So that's what helps make it easy. So don't stress about getting, and certainly don't get extra fat into your diet. Don't cram fat into your diet. Don't shy away from it. Embrace it where it comes. But the list of allowed foods is not all the cream you can guzzle down. It is not big spoonfuls of coconut oil. It is coconut oil for cooking and 2 tablespoons of cream a day. 2 tablespoons of cream a day. At least that's what works for this. I follow Dr. Westman's protocol, and it has worked beautifully for me. Other people can have great success on a variety of things. I'm going to lap this into one last point. I'm going to suggest strongly that you watch 2 videos I'm going to put at the end of this video, and link them. There are 2 lectures by Dr. Stephen Finney that he gave at Low Carb Down Under 2016, a couple of months ago. And they're long, so if you're going to watch them, they're split into 2 parts. And both are about an hour. Somebody asked Dr. Stephen Finney how much protein he eats in a day, because he did a question and answer period. It was great. He said he didn't know. He doesn't measure it. You really don't have to measure it. Now, I have to pay a closer attention to whether I'm hungry or not than I did in the beginning, because I have less need for food, and eating out of habit is not going to serve my purposes. It's not good for me. I don't even feel good after I do it. So I like feeling a little empty, a little light. I embrace that feeling. It's really cool, and it tends to energize me. So here are points. Weight fluctuates. Don't sweat it if you really are quite confident that you're following this regimen. If you don't want to follow the regimen I do, don't. It's effective for me. It's effective for many people. But you'll also see in one of the videos that Dr. Stephen Finney says, don't do exactly what I'm doing unless you're my clone or my twin, because nobody's alike. So find what works for you. But people ask me what has worked for me, and this is what has worked for me. So don't sweat it if you're following 20 grams of carbohydrate a day or fewer, and only eating when hungry and stopping when you're satisfied. Track things if you want to know. Be your own little investigator. Let's face it, we can't trust the USDA to tell us what's good for us, okay? Sadly, we can't trust very well-meaning dietitians, nutritionists, and medical doctors sometimes, because they have been taught the wrong information and they are slow to get out of that mindset. So we have to be our own advocate, our own investigators. Ultimately, our health care is our responsibility. Ultimately. Track, write down, make a video diary, even if you show it to no one. Take photographs of yourself and date them. Don't show them to anyone. Password protect them. Hide them in a safe. But so that you can go back and have some perspective for yourself. You may feel like you're getting nowhere, and you pull out a photograph or a video of yourself, and all of a sudden you've got, like, jawbones. I have clavicle. Look. Where is it? I'm in reverse. I have a clavicle. You know what that is? That's collarbone. And one over here too. I always had them. I was born with them. I couldn't see them for 35 years. So even I can continue to see differences in myself, even as the weight loss has slowed greatly. And your homework assignment, don't try to cram extra fat into your diet if you don't need it. If you're someone who is at the end of your weight loss goal and you want to maintain, you need to actually add fat at that point, because remember, this is a fat burning diet, not a weight loss diet. If you are burning fat for fuel and you have finished burning it off of your body, keeping in mind, if you're drinking it or eating too much or as much fat as your body needs, if it's coming in here, it's not coming off of here. It's not coming off of here. But once you get to the point where you've gotten where you want to be, you actually might need to increase your fat intake to meet your body's needs. Interesting. What fun is that? That's great. More butter. And then watch these two videos when you have a chance. Put your feet up, get a cup of coffee, get a glass of wine, and listen to what this world expert, the world expert, he is the man that Dr. Westman says he turns to when he has a question, is Dr. Stephen Finney. Have a great, whatever day you're on right now. Don't abandon me, because my weight loss chart is in a sad spot right now. I am 100% confident that that will be changing. And I'm actually kind of looking forward to see what happens next, because last January, like I said, I got up and then it went right back down, and I started getting a series of new lows again. So I'm excited. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your time. Talk to you again real soon. 20 grams or a day or fewer of carbohydrate. Eat only when you're hungry. Do svidania.